In a world with entirely too many shows about cars, this is another pointless automotive podcast.
Live from the Auto Obscure podcasting studio, also known as the Backyard Shed, it's another pointless automotive podcast, Frank.
Yes, it is. Live in the flesh.
I don't even know what to do.
Oh, no. What do we do?
What do I do with my hands?
Exactly, yeah. They're usually very busy under the table.
Yes.
And now there's no table in front of us.
We have pants on. I don't think I'll scroll down to show you, but I assure you.
Yes.
We are panted.
For those audio onlying and not seeing the video feed, we are indeed face-to-face in the flesh, both of us in one place at the same time.
Ooh.
In the party, the party podcast palace. What do we call this? Is that
That'll work.
yeah,
Let's go with that.
Stabbin' cabin? What is this? Yeah.
Captain Stabbin.
The masturbatorium? No, it's yes. And so if we're doing an awkward video feed that we decided to do last minute in this last minute
Because
endeavor,
3
and it's
people
working.
watch our YouTube videos, so
No,
we've
it's
got
like 4.
We've got that 4. Yeah, I always forget to round up.
Yes.
3.8. 4 people are watching this podcast live, so or when it's posted. So
And we thank them for it.
yeah, absolutely. So we're on a GoPro, which is exciting.
Yeah, we're going pro.
Yes, this is what they intended action cams to be used for, stuffed in some dude's shed with a
The
couple
least amount of
dudes
action possible.
awkwardly staring at
Yeah,
each other.
2 dudes, 1 shed. Yeah, this is.
Oh, my. Hopefully the audio quality is good. Like we should have pretty good.
I
audio
hope so.
quality.
I know. We managed
always fuck it
well,
up.
I managed anyways last week to completely step on my own Johnson and really tinny, awful quality. So hopefully, yes, coming live and direct.
The premium, if you will, and we have a pretty cool one. I'm pretty excited about this topic. Anybody in California is probably pretty excited.
I'm
about this
excited
topic.
about not us having it as a topic, but us having it as like a thing as car people.
True.
That's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, it's like our biggest hurdle, right? Like, so what we're talking about. So we'll stop dancing around the point here.
They read the title. They know.
Yeah, but this episode, Life After Leno's Law, and if you're not aware, because we take the assumption that folks are
Right.
very aware, and we have folks in other states for sure
And steaks.
listening in, and they love. We had steaks.
We
had
did.
steaks and cheese.
It was
Cakes?
hot date.
It was a good.
Yeah,
it was a good
it was
night,
good.
dude.
Cheesecake and
We had
steak.
hot hatches. We'll
We
talk
did
about
have
that
some
a little
hot
bit,
hats. We'll
probably.
get into that.
Anyway, Life After Leno's Law. So Jay Leno's kind of championing this law coming through that's going to, in a dystopian world where 35-year-old cars don't need to be smogged anymore.
Yes, the sky is falling.
Yeah, to us, that's huge, right? Because in California, if you're after 1975, you're getting a smog, and that is tough. These cars, when they came out against modern smog standards, wouldn't pass when they were brand new, barely, right? And we're dragging, what are we dragging? Cars with like 200, 300,000 miles and
Right.
hoping, fingers crossed, that they're going to pass the state smog
Yeah.
test.
Well, it's tricky because part of me thinks, okay, if a car isn't passing smog and it's stock, right? I tend to rock mostly stock older cars.
Fair. Yeah.
And so part of me is just like, well, if it's not passing smog, there's a very likely reason it's because it ain't running right. And I want to get the car to run right. And so that could, but sadly, it's not that simple, right?
No.
If I have like when I was messing with that 87 Accord, oops, now it needs a cat.
Right.
You can't get a 50 state legal cat for that car. So what's better for the environment? Put a 49 state legal cat, roll it onto a smog dyno, and it passes a sniffer, or push it into the ocean. Like,
Right.
what's better for the environment?
Yeah, 3,200 pounds of fine vintage Japanese metal.
I mean,
in the ocean.
that's where I throw all my used car batteries. It's into
As
the
one
ocean.
should, yeah. They
Right.
they naturally like become part of a coral reef. I think I read somewhere. So I
Well,
mean,
no, it's how you recharge the electric eels.
they're in the ocean now.
This is science. Yes,
I
yes.
didn't know they're in the ocean.
Yeah, it's
Amazon River
it's
only.
complex. It's
Okay.
complex.
Yeah, so I'm still learning hydrography.
Yeah, the pink dolphins are out there too now. But
Aw.
like, and so if it was simply like, well, get your car to run right, then like, okay, fine. But it's not, and it hasn't
It's
been
not.
that forever.
Nope.
It's, there's visual stuff, and that's not even counting mods where if you have an 85 IROC Camaro and you want to put an LS in it, that's going to
Right.
burn cleaner in all conditions instead of a carbureted 85
100%.
305.
Yep.
But no, you can't do that.
But you
And
named it. It's not even the cats. I mean, EGR, secondary air pumps, all these kind of things can come back and get you. And some of these you can't find.
Yeah.
Like try to find a secondary air pump on like a Tahoe before 2000, right? Like the whole assembly, you just can't. It's just that kind of stuff gets you. And like you said, you're stuck with a brick essentially, and you can't in California without a smog. This is how it works, guys. You can't register it if you just bought the vehicle. You can't get the title in your name, and when you go to sell it, good Lord, you're not going to get any value out of it because it doesn't pass smog. So it kind of cripples, and I think that's the angle here, the classic car market, right?
Well, yes and no. The other part of that is, yeah, you actually can get around it, and you can register a vehicle if it doesn't pass smog.
Sure.
You're just registering it out of state. You're registering it in Montana.
I thought you were about dirty smogs. That's what I
No,
thought.
well, there's that.
There's
but
that.
Most people don't want to ride that dirty. They'll ride dirty, and they'll soil themselves and they'll ride. So they'll ride that kind of dirty. But they'll also go out and just, okay, well, I will just register this in Montana. I'll do the $500 Montana LLC thing.
Pain in the butt.
And that's it. And so, yeah, you go to a Cars and Coffee and it's just full of Montana plates and South Dakota and whatever. And so there's ways around it. But is that money then getting used to improve the roads that we like to drive on? No.
Absolutely not. No.
And so, yeah, it's foolish. It's a way that California can capture some of this money in a way that's smart. It probably isn't a lot of money, for being honest. There's not that many of these cars out there.
Yeah, and it stimulates the auto market in the sense people will unfortunately have to buy a newer car to get it past smog, right? Unfortunately. And these cars are great. Like in all other aspects, these cars are fine. They run great. Everybody's done all the research that it's less pollution. It's less pollution to have a little dirtier fuel burning car than to throw an entire car away and all the hazardous materials that come in that, right? Yeah. In the eel-ridden Pacific Ocean. But it's true. It's true. I think it's about time we look at something like this. And it's a rolling 35 years, right? So 1990 would be exempt and older, and then every year you tack on another year, which I love.
Yeah,
I love this.
Part of me when I was, it's funny. I feel like us car folks, we've mentally kind of played this game in the past of like, if I was, God Emperor of California for a day, how would I restructure the smog law? Right before the Leno's law conversation started.
Yep.
And in my mind, it was always, if it's pre-OBD, it should be smog exempt.
That's a tough one.
And so, because otherwise you get rid of the dynos. You don't, if you want run a smog shop, you no longer have to have a smog dyno. You throw that thing in the garbage. You just do 96 and up, based on smog monitors, and that's it. You plug a scanner in it. It says that the monitor's set. You're done. It simplifies the process for these smog shop owners, and then you don't have to worry about smogging anything 1995 or older. This is going to be 90 and older, but 5 years from now, and this again. Assuming that it passes all the other stuff that's still got to pass.
Right.
Yeah. And guess what? Maybe it'll take 5 years to pass.
Yeah. Which will be great for the vehicles we traffic in.
Yeah.
But there's other states with smogs, and they have like they have a 20 or 25 year rolling period. In Virginia, where I lived for a while, there was like a 25 year period. You have to do a classic car plate. There's other things, right? And I think that's worked into this too. But the thing is, like, you still pay. The state still collects. You pay a smog abatement, like you do with a new vehicle. So the state is still getting their money. So it's not so much that it's just keeping these cars on the road at the end of the day.
When you were there, did you meet her, Virginia?
She is for lovers, I've heard.
That's what was that? No, that's is that Missouri? Or no, Ohio's for lovers.
No, Virginia is for lovers.
Ohio is for lovers.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Yeah, Virginia is for lovers is the known
I thought it was
trademark
Ohio
for the
is for
state.
lovers.
No, it's the state motto for
What?
Virginia.
Man,
Ohio is
I thought it
for
was
fentanyl.
No, Ohio is for weeping openly about your terrible football team while your nearest body of water is fully on fire.
True.
And rust.
No, definitely Virginia is for lovers is the state motto.
I thought it was, what is Ohio then?
Ohio is...
They have to have a motto, right?
Yeah, they're like
an
fuck.
actual one.
We're fucked.
Ohio.
Oh, fuck,
God
we're fucked.
damn it.
Yeah, again.
But no, I was saying, did you meet Virginia?
Slims?
No, sorry. Sorry, it's
My mom
it's a
knew her
bad
well.
song by Train. Anyways, so yes, I hope this, I really hope it passes. It feels like there are far more, and I'm trying to mentally realize that, yes, this is a very jaded and opinionated take.
Sure.
Because both of us are very much car people. That's why we have this podcast that's done 170 something episodes. But
Right.
I can't, even as like let's say I'm on the board of the Sierra Club. I can't think of any real objections.
No.
The only objections, there's more. You're opening the door for loosening, and I think if you just look at it pragmatically, it's very simple. That this is such a drop of sand on a beach,
right? Nothing
nobody's going to immediately start, rolling coal in a 1987 whatever.
It's going to be like early 80s LA smog just descends upon the entire
instantly.
state. Yeah, the day after it's passed.
Yeah, the smog up and it just comes out of nowhere. It's like, all right, boys, the laws just passed. It's roll out.
Open season, baby.
Yes, exactly. Smog Autobots.
So there's that, right? There's the keeping the old cars on the road, right?
Yeah.
But let's be fucking obvious for a second here and talk about what we really like.
Drugs?
Mods.
Oh, that too.
Here come mods, bigger turbos. We don't have to worry about visuals anymore. Engine swaps, Frank. These other people in the world that are doing these cool engine swaps and California, says all of them.
Or even I imagine anything 1976 to let's say 1990, right? That's what we're talking. There's a lot of shit in there that was carbureted. And a lot of that stuff is cool to be carbureted, right?
Sure.
If you've got a 510 or a 240Z and you want to run like a Weber or triple Mikuni side drafts or something like that.
Absolutely.
That's dope. But there's a lot of stuff in there, right? Where for just usability's sake, right? Yeah. Let's say you've got a 78 and you want to just throw on a Holly Sniper EFI, not for power, but just for just ease of use and livability.
Sure.
You can't do that today.
You can't. And it might even run, it probably will run cleaner.
100% run cleaner.
Yeah. So
under any circumstances.
Getting around that shit's like an added benefit, right? But just engine swaps in general, instead of you got a weird car from the early 80s, engine goes out, you're trying to find another one when you could just put something more modern and more affordable in. It's just the limitations are huge, and switching this around is going to be nice. I do
and not
see
having
it.
To sweat it.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right?
Just doing it.
But I see the prices on 75 and older cars relaxing because of this. Because they're valuable now because you don't ever have to look at smog. That's how important smog is in this state.
Yeah, I think, truthfully, though, I think it's really only going to be 3 model years of car. I think we're talking 73, 74, 75. Because most stuff pre-73,
yeah, sure.
There were big changes, smaller bumpers, other regulations that took place. And the only reason that you're hunting for the most part, is a 73 to 75 car is because it's
smog,
could decide or do a swap or whatever.
Sure.
Because you're not worried about smog. So I think if you've got a 74 Corvette, sell that now. Sell it today, right? Because it's not going to be any more valuable than a 78 here in a minute.
Right.
And this is, which is I don't know, the worst Corvette ever created.
Sure.
So
80s diesel stuff. I can see the prices going down on those too.
Yeah.
Because you pay a goddamn premium for an 80s diesel because
especially like a truck.
Diesels don't get smogged. You swap whatever you want. After this, if this comes to pass, then whatever.
So if it passes, right? Let's just say snap our fingers, it goes through all the things, it passes, and let's just say on America's birthday, 4th of July.
Love it.
You don't have to worry about smogging anything anymore. In perpetuity.
Yep.
Again, 1990
35
and
years.
Older.
Yep.
Rolling ahead. What you looking for? You got your eyes out for something?
I think
shopping,
dude. Anything, right? Most.
This is a whole new world for us California kids.
It's absolutely wild. I'm gonna entertain Hondas because Honda swaps are absolutely perfect.
Yeah,
and we can't do that here legally. Yeah. Right? So and you can go through a bar process, which is expensive, time consuming, and not guaranteed. You do all that work and it doesn't bar, right? You could be effed with a swapped car.
I wonder.
We can swap, baby.
You could. You think, and I don't know the answer to this. Is JDM stuff on the table?
That's a good question.
Because I don't know.
Ooh, I don't know. That's a whole import.
I don't know.
All this tariff talk and stuff. I don't know.
Well, if I have a JDM. Well, see, here's the thing. What's tough is there's still some regulation stuff, I believe, for imported stuff. I believe the cutoff is 66 66 or 67.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to impact that. I don't think
Because if I can
boy.
get like an 87 Toyota Soarer,
yeah.
something like that,
Sure.
like that would be so sick. To really forbidden my
a few
fruit.
years here, ST205 Celica tracks, man.
Yeah. I would get like an 84 Celica, what was it called? I think it called GT, I think it was a GTTR, where it was the 4G GE twin cam in those pop forward headlight Celicas. There's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of good stuff.
I guess for the sake of conversation, let's assume those are not.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to have the wings to cover all that, but just our regular cars that we're looking at, a lot of things we look at, it becomes a bad deal if we find out it can't pass smog or like. So case point, I looked at that 1990 perfect year Grand Prix Turbo that didn't have a stock intake.
And you cannot find it. Unobtainium.
Unobtainium. That thing, you dirty smog it, or this law would make it go away. You wouldn't even have to worry about something like that.
Yeah.
Just saying. Like that makes, so here's I wanted to talk about the cons for a second.
Yes.
There's going to be higher insurance, right? Because they're going to be classic cars, which is a slightly higher rate than probably what people were lying about and get. I think so.
I don't know.
You think your 90 Honda Civic has higher insurance as a regular car than a classic car? I think if you're forced to label that thing as a classic car, it's going to cost slightly more. That's not the big one. This is the big one. I want to say this. The price jump of these cars. These cars that once had trouble passing smog are now going to be a lot more valuable because we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. You know what I think it will, I think if you have a swapped car
Huge value.
in California,
Huge
it's a
value.
huge win for you.
Yeah.
If it's a stock car that just won't pass smog,
I think it's a huge value.
I mean, I think it's a huge value, but in a weird way. Like, and by that I mean like your car just isn't really worth anything right now. If it, you know what I mean? It's not like it goes from like, it's not like the intrinsic value of the owning of that car goes up, right? It's not like your boilerplate, let's say 1990 Miata.
Right.
It's not like suddenly 90 Miatas are worth a ton of money. I think the shitty one that would never pass smog because it's burning oil and it's been straight piped or whatever. And there's a test pipe where the cat should go.
Right.
Okay, yeah, now that car is maybe more valuable. But I think just like your standard bog stock, good running 100,000 mile Miata, I think it's probably the same. What I could see though is I can see that 91 being worth a little bit more than the 94.
Yeah, sure.
The 91, people go, that'll be, I got to just wait a year.
Yeah.
But if it was like a 94, 95.
As each year rolls, I could see a value premium, right?
Yeah, it was like, well, I'll pay now.
We're going to see these cars, though, that were put away because they didn't pass smog. They were put in a field, put in the back of the garage. These things are going to come out. They're going to wheel them out and be like, guess what? Runs and drives great.
Dead. Yeah.
Not even going to say it doesn't pass smog, right? It's going to...
Yeah, it's immaterial.
No more DMV back fees either. A lot of stuff is benched because it won't pass smog.
Yeah.
Then you can't register. Then you get the DMV back fees. We all know the story. The cars we traffic and we go, and if there's an old plate on there, you know why it did. Let's be honest.
I wonder if you. So let's say I have a 1988 Chevrolet Sprint Turbo or Turbo Sprint. Undecided how that goes.
This is a very creative session.
And now the law passes, right? Can I go to a smog shop and be like, hey, can you just see if it'll pass or not? I'm just curious. I want to see how it's running.
Right.
Will they be able to and bust out all the books and the numbers and be like, oh yeah,
no, they're going to get rid of rolling roads because of this law. Once we get to 96,
well, you still have to. Yeah, once we get to 96, 99.
Okay,
it's 99. So because 96
yeah.
and 99, you have to do OBD and rolling road, which is silly.
Once we get past, which is also ridiculous.
Yeah,
but once you
get
rid of that,
all of that,
because there's very few smog shops that still do that stuff. It's actually quite challenging.
Certified.
Yeah, and it's a pain in the dick, and they don't want to do it either.
You pay like double.
Oh, it's horrible. No, I could see but I see these guys pulling their cars out. We're going to get I think it's going to go up. I think we're going to see a general rise in these cars that now, especially between 76 and 89, we're going to see those cars that like were kind of older, barely limping past smog or have old plates. I think we're going to see those back on the market for a higher price.
What's interesting is I think that's possible. I think we'll never know. And not because I don't think it'll pass. I think there's so much other batshit stuff going on with regards to the rest of the global economy that, like,
Maybe.
what's driving what, I don't know.
Yeah, but
and plus, it's only California. And I understand that California is far and away the largest
car
enthusiast car market.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably globally.
It's up there. Yeah.
Which is why it's like a big deal that, like, when California says, oh, this has to be this thing, that this law to sell a car in California, that's fair. Manufacturers just do it, right? That's why all cars since fucking forever are California smog legal. Because you can't just sell to 49 states.
It's true, and it's hard to do that, right?
Yeah.
But when you're trying to buy a car, I get good deals, Frank, because I target these cars that won't pass smog.
Yes.
Right. Sometimes it comes back and it's a cat, and you're fucked.
Right.
And it's really expensive. You make it happen still, but the best negotiating tool right now is if a car hasn't passed smog. I'm like, whoa.
Should we go hunting?
That's what I'm saying.
Like
That's
should we
what I'm
go?
saying.
Should we roll our sleeves up?
Look for cars with like 2-year-old
Won't
plates,
pass smog.
3-year-old plates that haven't been registered, so it's not too long, right?
Yeah.
And maybe it needs a cat. Maybe it needs O2 sensors. Who knows? Maybe it just won't pass smog.
Haven't tried.
Yeah.
Don't know. It failed 2 years ago, and I stopped driving it. And I've only driven it 20 miles since then because
now we fix those things up, and now it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Telling you, man.
Can you have a saved search on Marketplace of need
Failed
smog,
smog.
or failed smog or won't pass smog? Is that a thing?
I mean, it's like, honestly, I treat anybody that doesn't have recent plates that's not currently registered, I assume there's a smog issue because that's the leading cause, right? Let's be honest. And it hasn't been smog because it hasn't been registered. Yeah. No one parks at, the fuel pump. You got that story too. But I think more times than not, cars are put away because of smog.
Yeah.
You come back, you fail a smog test. You're like, the guy's like, go ahead and swap the EGR. That owner pays a shop, $500 to swap an EGR out. Goes back. Now it's failing NOx. That cycle makes people get rid of their cars or park them in the backyard.
Park it, and I'll get to it later. I've got this other car.
Right.
And then 14 years roll by.
Back fees, and that's your negotiating. Can't pass smog. That's your negotiating. That's how I get cars for steel a lot of times. It's the risk.
I wonder.
It is the risk.
Just like going out buying stuff and like buying a bunch of 80 shit that have failed smog. The rub is a lot of those cars then atrophy away. By the way, I have one I need to propose to you. Someone wants me to buy their car, and it's a little bit too rough for me.
Perfect.
It's an 89 635.
Fuck.
Auto. But 89 is the 1 year with the small bumpers. Anyway,
it is cool. It's pretty.
I wonder if that might be the move. Should we just? Go
I think
hunting?
it is. We can stockpile some.
Find
cars.
some.
I mean, it's not like I don't have 4 or 5 cars waiting for me to wrench on, but
this is
whatever.
true. Yeah, just
Dude.
we can sublet. We can sublet a little bit of the yard from a friend of the pod, Rich of Car Donation. We're like, hey, we're just gonna bury like 7 cars in the back corner over here.
It's not a bad idea.
Don't worry about it.
It's not a bad idea.
And we just sit. And it's a gamble, right?
Are
we're gambling that it's going to pass.
Are we almost those guys that, the signs will buy your house no matter the condition?
Yeah,
with
and
cash. We'll buy your non-smog.
And it's a
caveman
caveman for some reason holding a bag of cash. You're like, why do cavemen want homes?
And it's a local number. It doesn't have an area code.
Why do they understand currency? This doesn't make sense.
It might be and gemstones or something. I don't know. They had some kind
You're
of
right. It could be. Yeah, it could be some kind of weird caveman dowry. Interesting.
Two goats and a handy behind the Circle K cave.
Exactly, the Circle Cave.
Circle Cave.
Exactly.
I like this idea.
A true goon cave.
I do see value. I think people that have these cars are the market's gonna be flooded. Once this passes, these old cars are gonna come up. But now you don't know if you're gonna buy a shit box that failed smog because the piston rings were failing or like the valve seals were going. Yeah. Right? And then you're gonna be fucked. But whatever, dude, you can motor swap it.
Yeah, God, we're gonna get ourselves in trouble.
This is good.
It's not good.
This is very good. No, this is good, man. I'm not chasing smog issues anymore. I chase a lot of smog issues, and it's a pain in the dick diagnosing smog issues a lot of times. So
yeah, it can be where you're just like, well, like, dude, I use a fucking vacuum pump, the EGR, and it goes, but like, why isn't it getting signaled to go? Is it an ECU? Is it a whatever? And you're like chasing, is it a bad vacuum line? And just like simple shit like that. Yeah. You do all of that shit, and then it turns out it wasn't the fucking EGR the whole time. Like, it's a different issue.
And then it comes down to cats, right? And cats, I don't think we have to buy California compliant cats anymore for these things. We can put
You don't even have to run a cat.
Yeah, run a regular cat.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Which
Just
is
find a cat like
a quarter
random...
of the time, a quarter of the value.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know you can't. It's illegal for a wrecking yard to sell used smog equipment.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that. I can't imagine that would change, but
No,
maybe
they'll probably keep that.
because like, what if you just like find a? You can just if you don't want to run super dirty and just run catless, you can just find like, oh, here's a fucking whatever Honda Accord cat. I'm just gonna like throw it on my fucking Prelude.
Sure.
And, like, it doesn't.
I mean, if there's no smog, like if you get that 76 to 89,
Yeah.
where you're free from smog, you can put whatever cat you want on there, man. You can put
Like
a
an
Magaflow, High Flow.
actual cat, like a Maine Coon or
Like
something.
that would be for an SUV. That's a large cat, my
That's
friend.
true. It's a big,
yeah, you'd have to get
big,
maybe like a regular
big
tabby
kitty.
or something.
Yeah, tabby. Get that tabby. God,
High flow tabby.
The mental image of this eviscerated.
What if the exhaust tone would be a little different, but
Yeah. I didn't have to pass smog, but I went directly to prison.
You think if you cam a car with a tabby cat, it would purr like a cam idol, like
only a
Loki?
Jaguar?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. Perhaps a Lynx.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little Mercury Lynx.
I do see my deals kind of drying up with this though a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what I go
Good
for.
with the
I go
bad.
for those. Yeah, you got to. But dude, engine swaps, man. For me, I'm not engine swap guy per se. I'd love to engine swap an old Honda just for the sake of it,
Yeah.
right? That's always something I've wanted to do again. But legally, I just want to put a bigger turbo in my Galant. I want to upgrade the fuel system.
Yeah.
I want to do things like that. And when it's tuned, it's not going to run that much worse. It's going to have a shit ton more power and be a lot more engaging.
Yeah.
I just want to
Use a little bit more fuel. That's about
a
it.
little more fuel, but I'll get there faster, so it all balances
Guess what? They don't smog you under. They don't smog test that car under full fucking boost anyway.
Well, that's a
right?
goddamn shame.
Yeah. Maybe they should.
Yeah. No, that for me is probably the biggest thing. I'm looking at things like that, those kind of mods
Right.
that we'd like to do, right? That would absolutely flag instantly. Even intakes, like basic things, exhaust, intakes.
Right.
Yeah, dude, getting EGR equipment out of there.
Right.
All kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Not.
Air pumps, stupid stuff, secondary air.
Yeah. Or just adding one of the tornado fuel saver
Or two.
devices. Yeah. Are those smog legal? I don't know. I don't know if they carb compliance.
They shouldn't be legal anywhere, but
Exactly. Yeah. You failed smog because you've got the like magnet thing that clamps around your fuel
fucking horrible,
fuel
dude.
line for to align the atoms or whatever bullshit it's
Those
supposed
things
to
have
do.
the best names, though. Their marketing departments. Chef's
Did we?
kiss.
Because I'm bad at this podcasting. That is. Did we? I feel like we do a full snake oil.
I think we
episode?
did. I think it sounds.
I know we
familiar.
talked. I know we talked about it. Maybe we were talking about like various gripes and bullshit. But like, God, we should do just
I feel
deep
like we
dive.
went pretty deep. I know we
think
talked
so.
about the
EMP. I remember talking about the EMP device
it's
thing.
horrible, dude.
Yeah, the EMP shield.
God, people buy these things. That's the worst part.
I know.
That's the worst part.
Should we have a podcast sponsored as like some kind of merch, some kind of weird snake oil thing, like maybe like one of the Christmas tree air fresheners, but for your intake.
Oh,
So it freshens your intake air.
your exhaust effectively.
Right,
at the
right,
end,
like a mentholated intake filter or something like that. I think we can do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day on eBay, and it probably is still like this, to tell you the truth. You can get on there and you can buy those little chips that you solder into your like
Yes.
random parts of your car.
Yeah, but it was just like
Don't do anything.
random capacitor.
Yeah, it was
that
like
you
a
just,
capacitor, but it was like circuited with some other stuff. So it's like, I don't know what the fuck it's gonna do. And you
Yeah.
could buy them, and they came in like an envelope with instructions. And it's like, how many people like? I think someone went to the math. Like you could weld.
Yeah, I
like,
remember that. Yeah, it was
Not
just like
weld it, but you could
lean burn
yeah,
kit or random dumb
plug it
shit
into
like
your
that.
math. It's like, no, guys. But it was like everywhere. I think they still have. We'll have to find one.
We should do that. We need to find some absolute sub $500 shit box that runs and like test all this bullshittery on it.
We'll die. Yeah.
Put all of it. Spend like $1,000 worth of snake oil on some $500 shitter.
After Leno's law passes, of course. Of course.
Yeah, no, we don't want to run afoul of the California Air Resource Board. No. We don't want to do that.
That's the biggest hurdle. Yeah, that's gonna be.
So
it.
what are you going to target something? Like any particular make model? I know you said Honda.
I'd love to do like a Honda hatchback swap because we never got the good hatchbacks here, man. Like I'd either do an EG to like a full like B18, something fun. something old school. I like the old school traditional swaps. K-swap's obviously the way to go, but there's something about those old motors.
For some reason, I think getting something like a Mustang SVO,
Okay.
or find a shit box. I know my personal dream is to have the Iron Duke Camaro or Firebird, but if you can find like a lower spec, like
how about an Iron Duke Corvette C4?
that'd be sweet.
Like swapping that.
Yeah,
That would be the most.
Yeah,
you would
we
get
need to go reverse swap,
We would be kicked out of every Corvette meet. They're like, pop the hood, and you're like, Iron Duke.
or just revving the piss out of it, and then they think it's like, dude, this guy did he K-swap it? And it's just like an Iron Duke with like a fucking spicy cam.
Don't they rev to like 55 or
Oh
5
yeah,
or 5
it's
at
maybe
that?
yeah,
48.
but yeah,
It's like a diesel.
something to, or yeah, or like get like a DJ5 dispatcher Jeep and put like something crazy in there.
Nasty. Yeah.
Yeah, nasty.
I like the swap. Man, every SR20 car is going to get turboed. Or Neo VVL engine swap.
I mean, that's a car that'll go up. It's like an S13. I mean, that's like
100.
S13.
Like they need more
Yeah,
reason.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Though, like,
There won't be one with a 2.4 in it.
yeah, finally, people will start modding those cars, right?
God bless them.
I know.
Maybe all the panels will match too, miraculously.
No, that's impossible.
That'll never
That's not
happen.
happening.
But just those fun little cars like the B13 Sentra SCR and the G20s are all going to get Neo VVL, like variable valve timing engines, or they're going to get turboed.
Yeah,
Which will be fucking dope.
yeah.
That'll be so dope.
Just imagine how much easier life would be, like owning a Fox body or something like that.
Oh yeah, fuck smog, dude.
Yeah.
And like open it up, and there's so many mods for the rest of the country. See,
C4.
we're talking
C4.
like this is abstract thinking, but the rest of the country, a lot of it
this is just what they do.
enjoys
This
it.
is just
enjoys this already, right?
yeah. This is just we're California dreaming, my friend.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Alternative title for the pod episode.
California steaming.
That's right.
Yeah, dude, this is tough. There's going to be good with bad. I hope it comes to pass, man. These things, so often they get all this steam at the beginning, and then it just kind of peters out as reality sets in, as people start to follow the money and see why we have smog.
Yeah, and I think too this one has some hope because there is backing by, I think it's no coincidence that at least in the initial drafting of this bill involves a requirement for quote unquote classic car insurance.
There it is.
Because you've got money like Haggerty and some of these other deep pocketed entities coming through and looking to push this through. And I think that's a reason why it's got a real chance to pass, is because people with pockets are pushing it through.
I like it.
Which normally wouldn't happen. Normally this would just get no attention, but because somebody stuck Jay Leno's name on it and he's got panache and it's going to get some backing by insurance players and things like that, I think it's got a really, really good shot.
Dude, I hope it. I really hope it does. I think this is a game changer for us, especially the shit we play with.
It just
These nuts.
no. Have you ever played Duke Nukem Forever?
Of course I have.
I've barely played it, and really the only bit that I've played is you can, as Duke Nukem, go into the bathroom
And at the urinal and piss all over the
there's that, but like if you like open one of the stalls, there's just like a turd log sitting in the toilet, and you can pick it up, and the whole time it's like, oh god, gross, why am I doing this? Like Duke Nukem, damn,
That's all you
God,
remember of that
this
game.
is so gross. And yeah, just shit we're playing with. That's exactly that is what flashed before my eyes when you said this.
That
is
was
the
a
shit we're playing with.
logical leap, my friend. That was, I support that.
Yeah, I'm my afterlife is going to be problematic.
Yeah, I hope I instantly reincarnate. No, it's gonna be cool, man. I think it happens. I think it impacts the cars we love. I hope, man.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like we're dailying these a lot of times.
No,
there
that's the
are
point.
there are cool
That's the
fucking
point.
people that do it, but the way, especially me, where I like restore them, I drive it to a couple car meets, maybe take it on a rally.
How many 1990 or older cars in California do you think are driven over 12,000 miles a year? I think statistic average is 15,000.
Yeah,
so
there's
even 12.
less than 2%.
I would argue not fleet use shit,
Yeah.
like where you've got, I don't know, random large commercial vehicles.
Sure. Okay.
I would say under 10,000 statewide.
Yeah.
Individual cars.
Sure.
And even that's probably a stretch. It's just not something.
Are you counting the ones that aren't registered?
Well,
There's some
I
of
mean,
that.
yeah, honestly, yeah, or registered out of state because they're just.
I think
these
that's
cars
part
are
of the-
seeing 1,000 miles a year for the
That
most
is
part.
part of the argument. These cars are used for fun. They're used for car meets, like I said, fun drives every once in a while.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I like this.
All right,
This is
Let's
exciting.
have some saved searches for.
Oh, dude.
Failed. God damn it! Quotes.
Get it now. Yeah. Just got it
We'll do
back. Can't pass smog. Right now, $500. First person gets it.
Yeah.
Put it in the backyard.
Let's go. Yeah, stack them up like cordwood.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Speaking of shit we like to play with,
Uh-oh.
and I don't mean each other. I mean this print ad quiz game. Should we do that?
Yeah, I'm supposed to find something for you, I think.
Oh boy. Okay. So I'm going to close my laptop. You find something, hopefully quickly, and
Not porn.
no, we're not. Yeah. I'm going to describe. I'm going to describe the first 4 minutes of this adult film, and you get to describe how it finishes.
Lots of shaft.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a veiny event.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Just alternate endings out of nowhere. Yeah. Da, 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 da.
That thing will pass smog. All right, buddy.
How this works is in today's rousing episode, Chadwick here is going to find, and perhaps already has, a print advertisement for some sort of automobile from the 80s, 90s, up until the mid 2000s. He's going to read that type copy, omitting anything overly identifying. Mm-hmm. It will then be incumbent upon me to figure out what kind of car we're talking about, make, model, approximate year of sale.
Okay.
And I get 3 guesses. I get 10 minutes. I get to ask for hints in between guesses if I get them wrong, and I won't. Oh,
He's bold.
oh, okay. I thought
Commenting on your boldness.
I thought I somehow already got it. Okay, I'm ready. Chadwick, are you?
I'm so ready. Okay, we have a 2-page spreader here, guys.
Oh, boy.
Vehicle, front and center. We're getting a flank of the vehicle, passenger side, straight on. Straight on side. Huge, bold headline for you to follow, my friend.
Okay.
What this country needs is an inexpensive source of power. So maybe a reference to this country having expensive cars. I don't know. Read that as you will.
Okay. This feels
Also,
gas
inexpensive
crisis.
sometimes doesn't always make sense.
Yeah.
But and it's located just below the hood. Oh wait, is that? Yeah, that's it. Just below the hood of the new blank. The only V6 in the world
Oh.
under $10,000. Oh,
In
shit.
the world under 10,000 United
Qualifier.
States American dollars.
Asterisks there, my friends.
Yeah.
But this car is more than an impressive engine. You get power steering, power brakes, a driver's airbag, stereo, sports suspension, riding on 15-inch Goodyear Eagle GT4 performance tires, sporty styling, a rear spoiler that provides powerful good looks too. That is such a weird thing to say about a spoiler. Plus,
Powerful good looks.
also, plus you get the ultimate in protection. Blah blah blah. We don't need to know about that. Powertrain warranty is very sad in this case. Bumper to bumper warranty. Visit your blank today or call. And there's a number, so you know what that means.
Ooh, we're calling it, baby.
With a price like this, it's time you took power into your own hands.
Ooh.
Let me get the old timer going.
Okay.
here, my
It said
friend.
car.
It's
Did not say truck.
so far the story's
Sub
checking out.
$10,000 V6, 15-inch wheels, a very powerful looking spoiler. Spoiler alert.
That's what they say. Whoa,
Golly.
baby with the bathwater.
I did not hear door count.
You did not.
I did not hear transmission options. It's got a driver's airbag.
Some good time period.
Right. Yeah.
Content there.
This is
This is
roughly 1992 ish,
maybe.
give or take. But this is going to be probably more like 93, 94 ish, just because of it's a cheap ass car.
It is a cheap ass
And
car.
so, golly. The cheapest thing in that
Cheap-ass
era
car.
that I can think of that was available with a V6 and was a car. But I don't remember if only the spicier trim was available with the V6. But you can get a V6. This is going to be the GM 2.8. You can get that in a Cavalier. You can get a spoiler on a Cavalier. I think you can get 15-inch wheels on a Cavalier. Obviously, like the Z24 was a V6. But it didn't sound like specifically the Z24 because they were like, I mean, maybe. I think we've done a Z24 Cavalier. Could also be the Pontiac Stablemate, which would have been the Sunbird. And God, wasn't there a Buick? I don't know if the Buick Ferranza was still around. I think that got killed off by this time.
By the time of airbags?
By the time of airbags. But there was probably some other bullshit. Oldsmobile Achieva. But those are upmarket. This would have been the cheapest. So it's got to be, if it's GM, it's got to be Chevy. If it's Ford, I mean, the cheapest Ford of the era would have been, with a V6, would have been a fucking Tempo. Doesn't sound like a Tempo ad. Okay, I'm gonna dip my dick and balls into the swimming pool by.
It's like a little inflatable swimming pool based on this price point.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, this is a doe and a half boy. Okay, first shot. I'm gonna say this is a 1993 Chevrolet Cavalier. Final answer.
This is not
Okay.
a Chevy Cavalier.
Okay, it's not a Chevrolet Cavalier. I was also assuming this is domestic.
Why would you do that? Because of the price point?
Because of the price point. Because of the... It's about time this piece of shit country got some cheap fucking power back.
I mean, I think domestics in the early 90s were pretty fucking cheap. But yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, there are a lot of fucking shitbox of V6 American cars in this era, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So not a Chevy Cavalier.
Not a Chevy Cavalier.
Can you give me a hint of your choosing? That isn't simply reading the phone number.
I mean, it's the only one in the world under 10K.
Sure.
So I mean, that's a bold statement. That means there's not a cheaper car with a V6.
Correct.
So it's definitely a cheap car.
I got
Let me
that.
think. You do have airbag, sport suspension.
Sure.
So we're not talking about a base model anything.
Necessarily, unless it's just only a sport automobile.
Yeah, it only comes with upgraded sport suspension. But this is
You didn't
not.
say upgraded.
This
just
is
said
not.
sport
This is not a base.
Not a basic. It's
That's
not a
my
basic
hit.
bitch.
Yeah, it isn't. This thing's got some fucking spice flavor, baby.
Ooh. And it's not a Cavalier.
They wouldn't put Goodyear Eagle GT Pluses on a.
I don't know. It's only
Shitbox.
It's $9,998.
That's like $1,000 right there out of the cost.
Okay. Terrible hints, by the way. But let me see what I got. Okay. The world of Chrysler.
The world of Chrysler.
World of Chrysler. And it does kind of read like it could be a Dodge ad. Or Plymouth, for that matter. What Plymouths in this era? A lot of them had Mitsubishi V6s.
Under 10K?
Under 10, potentially.
Oh. There's only one in the world in this time period, dude.
But which one? Because Plymouth
There
was
can't even be another.
generally slightly cheaper than Dodge. So it makes me lean towards Plymouth.
Okay.
Were there any Plymouth K cars? Most of the K cars were four bangers. And I think the early Cloud cars. What's the earliest year you could get a Cloud car? Was it 94? And I know we've done a Cloud car, but I don't know which Cloud car.
Yeah, which one do we do?
Chrysler Cirrus, perhaps?
Well, that would mean there's two more.
Yeah. But there's only one. It's the cheapest Cloud car of them all.
True, yeah.
I'm going to say this is a... God, what was the first year of the Plymouth Breeze? I'm going to say this is a 1994 Plymouth Breeze Basic Bitch Edition.
Okay.
Final answer, Bob.
We're not talking about a Plymouth Breeze.
No.
And again, I have to restress, Frank. This is
Sporty.
not a basic car. I'm telling you, this is a variant.
Spicy variant.
It's a spicy variant. I'm not kidding.
Do I have the continent right?
You're spot on.
Okay.
It's a domestic,
Okay.
but it is a spicy version.
Spicy
Not a
version.
base. Don't be giving me that basic bitch anymore.
Cheap power back.
3 minutes remain.
It's not a Fiero. No airbags and Fieros. Not
I would have taken a fire extinguisher in an early Fiero.
right.
I
In
would've
lieu of
taken-
an airbag.
Every single day.
That's actually what happens if you wreck it. It's in body fire suppression to hose your crippled, shambled corpse that just got a.
You're not
steering
surviving the
column.
crash anyway, right? It's
No,
just-
yeah, it just keeps your body. It keeps your body identifiable because you don't burn into a pile of ash.
God bless you, Pontiac. God bless you.
Exactly. Boy, okay. Spicy variant ish. Cheap V6. It means that there's going to be a 4-cylinder variant, which means that what would be a 4-banger with a V6 domestic that's otherwise cheap as shit? I mean, it could be a probe, but probes work almost nice.
Is that what you? That's how you remember them, huh? Almost.
Well, I mean,
An honest
to not be
probe
the
ad by
cheapest-
Frank. Probes were mostly nice.
they were like for what they were, right? I mean, it's a Mazda. There's a bunch of extra.
Wasn't nice enough to throw the Mustang off the Ford menu,
Right,
was it?
exactly. So okay, so potentially we're probing here. We could be.
If you play your cards right.
That's right. World of Chrysler. I mean, fucking.
You have 1.5 minutes.
Okay.
1 minute
Early
30.
Avenger. Maybe. In the world of GM. We have. I mean, back to the Cavalier. Back to fucking Sunbird Spicy Edition, but they had turbos. You get a turbo Sunbird. If you really want to sun your bird. Boy. And 15s. I think probe is like a 16. Maybe it's 15s. Deep probing questions here.
You're gonna take a buzzer beater?
I'm gonna have to take a buzzer beater. Hoist one up here at the end. What else? It's gotta be those cheaper. If it's the cheapest spicy variant,
It's certainly cheap.
right? But I mean, it's not gonna be Oldsmobile. It's not gonna be Buick. I wouldn't think. Okay, I don't feel great about it, but I'm going to say this is a 1993 Ford Probe GT. Final answer, Borb, and I'm not happy about it.
At the buzzer.
Oh, right on.
Unfortunately, this is not a Ford Probe GT, my friend. The
are we-
Ford
what are we
Probe
working
GT is I do believe those had a 2.8. The first GT V6s, the old GTs were turbo, the previous gen.
Correct. Yeah.
What we're dealing with is what this
That's a
country really
2.5.
needs is an inexpensive source of power. This is the Plymouth Duster V6.
Oh, shit.
This is the Duster,
Okay.
my friend.
That
Offered-
is a V6K car.
It is.
I figured it read like a Dodge.
the only one.
Plymouth.
So it MSRP 9849.
Pile of garbage.
I like them so much. The hood bulge at the beginning. The
Because it's basically it's a Sundance, right?
it is a Sundance, which is effectively a Dodge Shadow.
Yes.
1993. So you were right in the
Yeah.
ballpark. That's when
Yeah.
airbag, the driver's side airbag.
Yeah.
I liked them. I like the graphics. Look at this thing, dude.
Well, it's got the little
Dude,
the little duster script.
Come on, dude.
God. And
They're
that
cool.
was the Mitsubishi. The Mitsubishi, was it a 2.5?
Was it? I think it was.
I think it was the 2.5 that
That they
they
also
had in
stuck in
early Avenger and the Cloud Cars.
These don't exist anymore.
They do not exist
Dusters,
anymore. I forgot
early
that,
Avengers.
I forgot that you can get that with a V6 for a minute.
The only one.
Yeah.
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 Cool car.
Yeah.
These used to
golly.
be everywhere. I remember seeing these all the time.
They do not exist
No,
anymore.
and but they weren't like a car. Like they didn't make 500. These things were made in the tens of thousands, and people drove them.
They returned to the earth.
Yeah, they definitely returned to the earth.
God, I can hear the power steering pump grinding on one of those, and the transmission like clunking and lunk.
But this was the Sundance's spicy version because the Shadow had the Shelby versions, right?
Yep.
And this is all the Plymouth got. It was a humble V6, but you know what? It's a pretty small car, pretty light. They're pretty quick.
So I know they're Mitsubishi, and you couldn't get those with a manual, right? Those are only all 4-speed
You could.
autos.
I think you could.
You could.
I think you could.
Ooh.
I know.
Ooh.
I'll have to look it up. I know so before they did have the 2.2
Yeah.
when it had the Sundance. This no longer
Yes.
has the Sundance name. It's
They just
purely
dropped
the
it.
Duster.
But they still had a Sundance in that era, just not
Yes.
the Duster version.
Right. But the early ones were Plymouth Sundance Dusters.
Yes.
Yeah, with the 2.2, of course. And that would have given it away if I did an early one. But yeah.
Wow. Good
Duster.
pull.
Cool
pull.
car.
Yeah,
If you can get with a
yeah.
manual, that's a fucking cool car. That is a cool car with a manual.
God, it's
They look cool.
it might be
I
like
like
the
them.
pinnacle of shitbox
Yeah.
hunting, because it's a true
Oh, they were cheap.
God. Like I can picture that ugly fucking steering wheel,
Oh, the interior was
big
god-awful.
square
Yep.
with the Pentastar in the middle.
Yep.
And just
I think they looked good though. I like the side profile with the hood bulge and the spoiler
that's
integrated.
far and away the best
Sundance.
angle.
Yeah.
Is,
The best
and
angle
the
too.
Sundance, the
Yeah.
best angle and the best Sundance.
I like them. I like it. And the graphic, the old classic Duster, which harkens back to simpler times.
I just imagine some. Oh, cool. What car? What do you drive? Plymouth Sundance. Like
Duster. you
Just-
gotta throw the Duster. Graphic
what would be
was
more?
fucking dope.
What's more disappointing for somebody if you talk about? Oh yeah, like I'm really into cars, and you're like, oh yeah, what car do you have? And you're like Plymouth Duster, or sorry, Plymouth Sundance. Do you think they get more disappointed by that, or you say Plymouth Duster? I'll see you on Saturday at the Cars and Coffee, and then you roll up in that Plymouth
Duster, yeah.
because they're picturing like a 71 340 Duster or
Oh
something
fuck
like that.
yeah, dude!
And you roll up in that.
I get the classic Duster T-shirt and hat, but show up in this.
Yes. Oh,
Horrible.
yes, we got a big Sundance heads. If you're out there,
Oh hey no.
find us a Plymouth, that generation Plymouth Duster.
Yes sir. Good job, man. Good valiant effort. You named some notable.
Get it, Valiant.
Yeah,
Plymouth Valiant.
there we
Yeah,
go.
hmm.
So you named some notable shit boxes. That was
Yes.
very good.
was
Probe was good. Probe was good. You were right on displacement, man.
But my thought was like,
You were in 2.8 land.
The Probe is too nice.
It
Those
is.
are
I think it was.
2.5s.
I
Those
bet-
are also 2.5 V6.
originally. Didn't they go up to? They stepped up in displacement at the
I
end,
don't
didn't
think
they?
they did. I
Are
think it
you
was always
sure?
that Mazda 2.5 from the
Okay.
MX-6.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
God, I thought they put something bigger in at the end, like a 3 or something. I'll have to look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ford Probes were like 11,995.
Yeah,
They're
and I
probably
figure
12K.
because it's like
Yeah.
there's Mazda components and there's stuff coming from overseas. Like there's more, it's more involved. Then I guess that has a Mitsubishi V6 in it. So who the fuck knows?
I'll have to look up the manual thing. I think they did for some reason.
Boy,
Yeah.
God, beautiful disaster.
Well, let's celebrate you failing the Duster
Heroin?
quiz.
Are we gonna do heroin?
Let's keep it to the rivers and streams that rivers and streams we're used to.
Yeah. The track marks and pock marks that we're used
Project Car Progress, also known as
PCP.
PCP in these parts. Have you done any wrenching lately, Frank?
to. Sort of.
Admit to the people.
So, where do I start? I believe where we last left our heroes. Mm-hmm. I was talking about the Turbo Sprint.
Yeah.
I got the bumpers and grill painted.
Huge impact.
I did get there was a section of vinyl. So the way the seats, the very cool seats.
Yeah.
They've got this like red, orange, kind of yellowish gradient pattern.
Super cool.
with gray bolsters, and then the back of the seats are a gray vinyl.
God
like a
bless 'em.
dolphin gray vinyl.
Probably is dolphin skin, to be honest.
It's not whale penis leather, unfortunately.
That's a different price point, my friend.
Yeah, you got to step up to the Prom Brawn darts, or the darts Prom Brawn to get one of those.
Big step from the Sprint Turbo, but yeah.
Yeah. One day, it's like the
day.
guy who I'm gonna trade this paperclip and get a house, but it's like a Sprint Turbo and a whale penis leather.
Whale penis, yeah.
And just give me the whale penis. I don't even need the.
I thought you almost said, just give me the penis. I was like, weird.
Look,
Not in the podcast studio, bro.
Look, fella, I'm just gonna settle with you. Just give me the penis.
I'm not here to negotiate.
Shut up and give me the penis. So, on that note, we so I had on the vinyl section on the back of the seat, on where it meets the inside bolster, so where like my right elbow would slap.
Yeah.
There was a dollar bill size section that was torn and peeled back, and you could see the foam had been like collecting sun for a while because it got kind of gets dark and kind of gross.
The burnt foam look.
Kind of foam, yeah. And so I had that. I took it to a fly-by-night upholstery shop in a dicey part of town.
Perfect.
$220. They replaced the entire back of the seat.
Dude,
all the
upholstery
vinyl.
works so pricey too. That's a great deal.
Yeah.
That's a great fucking deal.
And it looks great. And so I've got it back.
It does.
I need to really kind of the last step on it for me. And then I did get a detailed. Friend of the pod, Joe Otati, detailed it for me. Looks great. He did a killer job. The paint is not great. It's got a whole bunch of sections of like somebody might have actually taken white out for some rock chips and scratches and burnt edges and things like that. But it looks great.
Yeah.
And the last thing I now need to do is the decal on the little vent on the grill that says intercooler.
The most iconic decal.
I have a replacement
on that car.
one, but it's been sitting in the car and got stomped on a bunch of times, and it's all crinkled up, and it won't de-adhere correctly. So I just need to get a better replacement, which they're sort of available. I'll make it work.
That's a high impact decal. You got to have one.
It's
kind
part of the
it.
party trick on that car. So, but yes, we're rounding the corner, and fun little car.
Cool fucking car.
How about you, my friend? Have you been turning wrenches, turning tricks?
I have. So the tracker in the garage, and I showed you that before we came out here. Yeah. So similar kind of vintagey cool car.
Yep.
Geo action. I actually started the time belt water pump job. Before I did that though, it had all the towing components on there, and I had to take this stuff off, and
okay,
a lot of heavy bolts that have been on there. This thing has been a tow thing since it was probably new. So those have been affixed to the vehicle. Some of those bolts really came off. They need a lot of elbow grease. No rust on the truck at all. Just goddamn, dude. Some of those bolts, because it's heavy duty shit. You don't want. Go figure. You're not running 12mm bolts holding your fucking tracker to the back of your Winnebago.
I know.
So getting those off so I could get accessibility, and then I pulled the radiator, pulled the fan, pulled the clutch for the fan. All that kind of stuff came out. Kind of the neatest thing. Usually radiator fan shrouds have they kind of unsnap and you can pull it out so you can pull the fan.
Yeah.
And out. Nope. This one doesn't have it. So you have to undo it from the radiator and then push it back onto the engine. And then you can pull the radiator and then you slide it forward and pull it out. So it's
interesting.
It was a little conundrum at first. As I looked at it, I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? You know, you stop yourself. But did that, drain the coolant, perfectly green coolant. That's what you like to see on these older cars. You never know, right? Rust, could be milkshake. You never know. Wrong coolant. Perfectly green coolant. I'm excited. And I showed you the engine bay. Super, super approachable timing about water pump. Longitudinal engine, super single overhead cam.
Hell yeah.
I mean, there's a tensioner pulley. There's a cam and a crank. That's
Love it.
Dude, come
that was
on.
my 924. It was that, except you didn't even have to take the crank pulley off. You just go around the crank pulley.
Yes.
And then put a new tensioner on with a single bolt.
Yep. This one, you don't have to actually pull the pulley out, the ribbed pulley, but I do the front crank seal. So
okay.
Got to do it. Got to pull that bad boy out. But fun fact is when we do put the timing belt back on it, it's top dead center at cylinder 4. So weird with the trackers and the sidekicks. So that's a little fun thing that trips people up. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's super weird. But that's how all the timing marks are lined up. It has to be cylinder 4.
Are they built in the southern hemisphere? Is it like the toilet flushes the opposite
It
direction
could be.
sort of thing?
I'm pretty sure it was built in Canada, but yeah.
That's the southern hemisphere of the northern hemisphere.
Oh yeah, when the
Famously.
Earth is rotated all the way around. north is south and south is north. Sure.
Yeah. Cats, dogs, sleeping together. Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Raining
Then you end up
spaghetti.
with a weird cat dog hybrid.
I've seen that show.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Working on the tracker, and so far it's gone smooth, dude. So I'm
There you
pumped.
go. That tracks.
I'm pumped.
Very cool. Well,
Send it.
send it.
Yeah, we're
Here we
done.
are.
We're up against
in
it.
person. Should we take people behind the curtain and let them know that maybe we're going to do another one after this to maximize our in person.
I think we should.
And it's okay.
Yeah, this
tune
works.
in next week where but what's going to happen is somebody's going to like watch 2 of these back to back on video, and then on the second one we're going to be like super sweaty and like giggly and just like and in between. So like it's going to be.
You guys.
What do they do? I don't want to know. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, on that awful note.
I mean, yeah. Thanks for stopping by, guys. We really
Yes.
appreciate it. Thanks for watching this podcast. Definitely, feel free to leave us a review. Rate us on whatever format or medium you use to watch your podcast or listen to your podcast. We are on YouTube. Every episode gets loaded up to YouTube.
I know.
This
That's
one
a
will be
thing.
highly questionable.
Yes.
With improved thumbnails, though.
Oh yes, exactly. 2 thumbnails up.
2 thumbnails up, baby.
Yeah, and I wonder, and if you really dislike our content, do us a favor, give us a 5-star rating, but then in the comments, just talk mad garbage.
Light us up.
Just
Light us all the way
absolutely, because what'll happen is then people go, wow, this podcast has like 62 5-star ratings. Let me read these ratings, and then they'll read your comments.
The shit
absolutely
storm.
dunking
Yeah.
on us.
Yeah.
So you get to kill us with kindness.
Bring it.
And then hurt us. And please, if you want to send us hurtful messages, you can do that on Instagram. That's
Please do that.
at APA Podcast there. I'm Frank. I'm the photographer's garage on all of the places. How about you, Mr. Wick of the Chad?
Yeah, so I'm still Chadwick this week anyway, until the surgery kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
Auto Obscure Garage for all your rescues, restorations, and reviews. May have a Sprint Turbo coming. Oops, spoilers!
Oh,
Shit! Oh, watch out! So we'll catch you guys in like a week.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
We'll cut them.
Yeah,
We'll cut you. We'll cut you.
All right, guys. As always, love you. Take care.